Oh, hello, and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him. Yahoo Sports ADP is broken, and here's how to exploit it. So if you're watching this video, you probably have a Yahoo Sports Fantasy Football Draft coming up. Congratulations to you. It's the best time of this season. The ADP, or average draft position on that platform, or the X rank is really what it is absolutely broken, and we're going to go ahead and tell you exactly round by round how you should be approaching these drafts on Yahoo, and we are going to compare it to a historically sharper ADP in Underdog Fantasy Football. So an important note about this ADP versus other ADPs, this is based off of 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, and 1 flex leagues. And Underdog has 3 wide receivers. So a lot of these running backs will be bumped up in ADP. So for that reason, we are going to be a little bit aggressive with the running back position early on and get at least 1 in the first 2 rounds and fill our team with solid wide receivers later on in the draft. So round 1, the 2 main targets I would take, ironically, is Amon-Ra St. Brown and Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is being drafted 6th overall on Underdog and 7th in the Yahoo platform. Amon-Ra is probably the better of the 2. He's going 8 on Yahoo and 5 on Underdog. I really like Amon-Ra St. Brown. If you are in that kind of middle of the draft, I would definitely target some of those guys. The one guy I would avoid in this round would be Jonathan Taylor. He's going 10 overall on Yahoo, where he's going 14th, so kind of around the corner in the Underdog platform. I would definitely pass on Jonathan Taylor. Don't be too aggressive with him. Obviously, go ahead and try and get Christian McCaffrey in the first round, or if you're in the middle, get one of these wide receivers. And in the second round, we're definitely going to hit on a running back. So let's get straight to that. The one running back I would avoid in this round is Derrick Henry. He's going 13th, so right at 2.1. He is going 30th overall on the Underdog platform. I am much more excited about Kyren Williams and Isaiah Pacheco in this round. And if you can decide where you draft, I would definitely try and draft earlier, because honestly, the second round in Underdog isn't great. Somehow in Yahoo, it's even worse. Like, in my opinion, the 3 draftable guys, unless a guy falls into the second round around the corner, the 3 draftable guys in this round are Kyren, Pacheco, and Mike Evans. So if you can go first overall and just get your Christian McCaffrey, or second overall and hope Christian McCaffrey falls to you, you're not missing much waiting through the second round to get your late second round player. In the third round, it really starts to get interesting. Another landmine in the third round. Travis Kelce is going 27th. He's going 38th. He's going the tight end 1 on Yahoo, and I'll explain why later on in this episode, but going middle round tight end is going to be a lot more beneficial for you than going and chasing one of these premium guys. But definitely stay away from Travis Kelce. The guys I really like, which is really exciting because I just can't draft them because they're a little bit overpriced on Underdog, but I think they're pretty appropriately priced here. Deebo Samuel is going 28th on Yahoo. He's going 16th in Underdog, which is a little bit rich for my blood. I'm always like, man, I wish he was kind of towards the back end of the second round. And lo and behold, he's in the early third round here in Yahoo. So go ahead and eat up Deebo Samuel, especially if the Ayuk thing makes him have an early bad start to the season, or whoever they trade. I think it's going to be Ayuk is going to be there, but he could have an injury coming off of this lengthy holdout. He could not be in good shape. He could look slow to start this season. If that's the case, it's going to be a Deebo Samuel, George Kittle show. So I love him, getting him here in the third round. And Jalen Waddle, he's just across the board entirely undervalued on all platforms except for Underdog, which is why it is so important to pay attention to the Underdog ADP. He's going 19th on Underdog. So early second round, I'm happy to take him there most of the time. And he's going 36 here on the Yahoo platform. If you just take out his beginning season injury and his end season injury and just take like the middle 14, 15 games, he was at this value. It was like the 12th most important wide receiver in fantasy football. His yards per route run was really good last year. He just was a little bit banged up, and I get it. You're a little bit worried he's going to be banged up again, but he's had a clean bill of health through camp outside of sitting out 2 practices for what sounded like an extremely minor sort of tightness thing. I think Jalen Waddle, if he does stay healthy, he is going to perform very well. And you get the bonus if Tyreek Hill goes down or takes a little bit of a downturn at the age of 31. Jalen Waddle might end up being the number 1 on this team this year in a highly explosive offense. So taking him here in the third round, if Deebo's gone, absolute smash value. Getting into the fourth round, speaking of guys that are way too expensive on Underdog, Devontae Smith is going 28th on Underdog. You can get him at 38 in Yahoo. I love that value. He's a wide receiver too, but he's on a wide receiver too on an explosive offense. I have slight concerns with his touchdown volume this year with Johnny Wilson and then obviously Saquon and Jalen Hurts taking up a lot of the red zone. A.J. Brown's there. Johnny Wilson's there to potentially catch passes in the red zone. So Devontae Smith being a smaller guy, he'll have to depend on the long touchdowns to really perform for you. But you're getting him in the fourth round. And if you're getting him as your second or third wide receiver on your team, your flex wide receiver, that's an amazing value because he is going to get a good amount of volume in this offense. I'm just worried he'll be outside of the red zone when that happens. Another great value, it's about even on both platforms, but a guy I've been targeting across the board, he's a little bit higher in my rankings, Patrick Mahomes in the fourth round. And we'll see, we might be able to get Rashee Rice and or Xavier Worthy to stack with Patrick Mahomes here. So if you can get Patrick Mahomes in the fourth round, I definitely am trying to get one of these premium quarterbacks because the later round quarterbacks are actually a little bit mispriced for whatever reason. They're a little bit more expensive in the later round. So just pay up and get one of these premium guys, starting with Patrick Mahomes, ending with probably Anthony Richardson, somewhere in between there, trying to get your Lamar or Jalen. Josh Allen's a little bit too expensive in my opinion, but if he falls, get Josh Allen in the third round. But ideally, you're just going to get Patrick Mahomes here in the fourth round. Try and get it every single time. That might be your only quarterback build. What I usually do is I just wait for one of those guys. Usually it's like a rookie like Caleb Williams to fall a little bit later in the drafts and just take a good value ADP on your second quarterback there. But to get Patrick Mahomes early, not a bad decision at all. But also in this round, Malik Neighbors, rookie out of LSU. He's a stud. He's going to be in a struggling offense, but you're paying a 41 overall price tag for him when you're paying a 24 overall price tag. He's going at the end of the second round in Underdog. So Malik Neighbors, a great value where you're getting him here in the fourth round as your flex wide receiver, for example. And Joe Mixon, I would stay away from Joe Mixon. 42 overall on this platform, 64 overall, and I don't even like that ranking in Underdog. So that's a little bit of a personal opinion as well. I would stay away from Joe Mixon and just take up Patrick Mahomes. I would never take Joe Mixon ahead of Patrick Mahomes. That would be crazy. In the fifth round, you're actually paying up pretty expensive for Kyler Murray here. He's going 50th overall, 74 on Underdog. So if he does fall a couple more rounds, go ahead and grab him. But I'm really liking Anthony Richardson at where he's going in these drafts. Tank Dell, 52 overall in the fifth round. Should not be anywhere near this ADP. He is going 34 in Underdog. And again, I like that value there. I'm taking him wherever I can get him in Underdog fantasy football. Tank Dell, I believe, is going to be the number one there. He was number one when him and Nico were healthy at the same time. In full PPR, I would kind of lean towards Nico, even though I think both of them in that aspect would be good values as well. But Tank Dell here, that's why I'm okay with getting a premium quarterback and reaching on running back early, because if you can get a Tank Dell here in the fifth round as your first bench player potentially in the wide receiver position, you are cooking. And then again, David Montgomery, not a bad ADP. You're paying up for him a little bit here, but if you need that second running back on your team, Tank Dell is off the board. You already have your premium quarterback. I would definitely go ahead and grab your David Montgomery right there, because you can almost even pass on Tank, because Rashee Rice you can get in the sixth round allegedly. Now, I would almost recommend, if Tank Dell is off the board, instead of getting David Montgomery, I would almost just go ahead and reach on Rashee Rice. He really probably should be going at the beginning of the third round. If I'm entirely honest, on Underdog, he's going 43 overall and rising every single day. He's not going to get suspended. And if he doesn't get suspended, he's just going to be an easy top 24, probably top 15 wide receiver in fantasy football this year. So Rashee Rice, absolute smash value. And that's why I'm liking getting that Mahomes at cost early on in the draft if you can, because you can stack them with Rashee Rice in the sixth round or the fifth round. And if you do have that Patrick Mahomes, just bypass everybody I talked about in the fifth round and get your guy, get Rashee Rice on your team, and then hopefully get Xavier Worthy with the next pick. Some other guys to talk about in this range. This is where I like to start getting that tight end position. So tight end George Kittle is about even with his Underdog ADP. I love that. I like even more Dalton Kincaid at 66. You can get him at 52 on Underdog, 66 on the Yahoo platform. So if you're in a sharp room, Rashee Rice gets picked, or you took Rashee Rice in the 5th round, you need some guy to take in the 6th round, time to start getting those semi-premium tight ends, not those top guys that are just, I think, a little bit too expensive on the Yahoo platform. In the 7th round, you've got Jordan Love is a little bit overpriced, I think, on both platforms, but especially here on Yahoo. 73 overall. He's going 94 on Underdog. I would stay away from Jordan Love at all costs. In your redraft leagues, it's going to be a tough thing to decide who's going to be the number 1 wide receiver there. So I don't like his value all that much. But again, another premium tight end, Kyle Pitts here, 76. He is going 60 overall, which is a little bit rich for my blood in Underdog, but get him at 76 in the 7th round. Kyle Pitts with a new quarterback throwing the football. We probably could be Kirk Cousins. What if it's Penix? Maybe Penix dumps it off to his tight end a lot. All camp reports are that Kyle Pitts is a stud, so believe it. I really like Kyle Pitts there, and I really love Keenan Allen. There's been a lot of mud thrown his way, like he's fat or slow or something. First of all, he's never been a burner. He's a big guy. He looks great in camp. Watch the Hard Knocks episode after he talks about getting locked down by their all-star corner. There was a pretty sweet highlight reel of him just being unguardable. 77 overall on the Yahoo platform, which y'all are drafting on, 58 in Underdog. So again, another great value here in the wide receiver position if you need it. And running back in this range, Brian Robinson going 84. It's a little bit higher up on the Underdog platform, but if you do need that 2nd or 3rd running back on your team, probably your 2nd running back at this point, I would go ahead and take Brian Robinson if you already filled your bench full of studs at the wide receiver position. Evan Ingram in the 8th round, 89 overall on Yahoo, 78 on Underdog. He, even before the Christian Kirk injury last season, was projected to be the number 3 tight end in terms of receptions. He ended the tight end 2 overall last year because he really blew up after Christian Kirk went down, which tells me, hey, he's 1 injury away from just being a stud this year on one of his star wide receivers. Sounds like Brian Thomas is going to be insane this year for them, which we'll get to in the next round. So if you haven't gotten your tight end yet, grab Evan Ingram here and hope and pray one of those premium wide receivers are around in the 9th round that we're about to talk about. And if you already have one of those premium tight ends I already talked about, just wait and reach on one of these guys we're going to talk about in the 9th round. Some other honorable mentions. We also have Jake Ferguson in this round. It's a great ADP value as well. So again, if you don't have a tight end in the 9th round, in the 8th round, go ahead and get Evan Ingram. Go ahead and get Jake Ferguson. Zach Moss is a pretty okay value as well. If you went super like 0 RB or hero RB, where you took a top 2 round running back and waited all the way till the 9th round or 8th round, get Zach Moss. I think you'll be fine and get a couple more kind of handcuff backs later on in the draft. In the 9th round, the most exciting round, I would reach on these guys even 2 rounds in advance. Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy. If Xavier Worthy is available in the 8th round, you have your tight end position filled. You have your quarterback position filled. Even if you don't have your quarterback position filled, just reach, grab Xavier Worthy. He's going 97 on Yahoo, 55 overall on Underdog. He's going to be relevant for the Chiefs this year, and another reason to get Patrick Mahomes. So you can stack him with a super cheap, probably going to be his number 2-3 target on the team, and he's going to be the deep ball guy. So for all those reasons, I think the Chiefs are going to know how to use him. Obviously, Andy Reid drafted him for a reason, traded up with the Bills in the 1st round. He's been running with the 1 since day 1. Xavier Worthy all the way. Brian Thomas, same thing. So he could just be incredible this year. He could be better than his LSU teammate Malik Neighbors, and he is going 100 overall versus 72 on Underdog. He was running 1st overall with Christian Kirk off the field. Now we're also finding out that Christian Kirk had some tightness in his calf or whatever, or maybe a groin injury, a minor groin injury brewing. So maybe that was the reason why. Either way, he might just be on the field 100% of the time. Brian Thomas, absolute smash grab here in the 9th round. Reach on him in the 7th round. Reach on him in the 8th round if you have all your other positional needs. And then again, important to mention Caleb Williams. I really think he's going to run the football a lot. Pretty even with his Underdog ADP. If you want to grab him in the 9th round, if you went 0 QB, you just didn't get a QB yet, take Caleb Williams, especially if you drafted Keenan Allen or DJ Moore early. Which is he's DJ Moore is a fine value. I didn't bring him up earlier, but he's okay on on Yahoo. And then Jameson Williams, another name to bring up here in the 9th round. He's a guy who could fall into your 10th, 11th round, so just keep an eye out for him. 107, he's going 82 on Underdog. He could just be finally what was promised with his high draft capital the Lions took on him in his rookie year. Had ACL, kind of first year was a wash. They had the suspension with the gambling thing that later got reduced. So kind of wasn't his fault, just kind of dealt a bad hand. And I think he's finally earned the respect out of this coaching staff. Dan Campbell shoots it straight, said he was looking for a lot more out of Jameson Williams his first 2 years, and now we can't stop talking glowingly about him. So JMO, getting him here in the 9th, 10th round. I love that value. And a couple of the receivers here in the 10th round, Ladd McConkey at 110 versus 79 on Underdog, and Romeo Doubs 114 versus 99 on the Underdog platform. I think Ladd's going to be the number one there. Maybe Josh Palmer, who would also be a sleeper candidate for me. And Romeo Doubs here at 114 could be the number one for Green Bay. So again, another home run swing. You watch the first game, he's only on the field 60% of the time. You can drop him and figure out whichever premium running back that just blows up on the scene for no reason. Get your Carson Steele in your first waiver wire pickup. So here is a mock draft that I just completed. I did have the one overall pick, which I think is kind of overpowered, just like we were talking about. The second round kind of stinks. Christian McCaffrey first overall. And then I got Deebo Samuel, who, remember, he's going early in the second round, and now you can get him 24th overall. So if you can pick if you can decide where you're drafting, go first, second overall. I would definitely say is the way to go. Deebo Samuel and then Jalen Waddle, who again is going kind of middle second round. So you're really not missing out on much in real life value, just ADP value here on the Yahoo platform. Around the corner, I got Devontae Smith. Again, remember, was really overrated on Underdog, but he's really, really appropriately rated here. So I go running back, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. So, of course, I am looking for my premium quarterback. In this case, Anthony Richardson fell to me there. And then I'm thinking, of course, I need to get my tight end. Kyle Pitts falls to me. So that was spectacular. And then Brian Robinson. So I did go kind of hero RB here, going Christian McCaffrey early, waiting a while, and getting Brian Robinson, who I think will be the bell cow in Washington and hopefully a better offense. And then, yeah, I go ahead, I reach, get myself my Brian Thomas in the 8th round as my 1, 2, 3, 4th wide receiver. So he's my first receiver coming off the bench and potential trade bait if it goes the way I think it's going to go. And then just adding some depth along the way. Zach Moss, Caleb Williams fell to the 10th round in this case. At the end of at the 10th round, I don't need 2 quarterbacks if I go Anthony Richardson early, but it sure does feel good getting that second quarterback in the 10th round in Caleb Williams and stacking him with my share of a bear if I do have it. I didn't have it in this draft, but trying to get a bear stacked with him would be awesome. So some sleepers I got. I have a whole sleeper episode if y'all want to watch it. We kind of stopped in the 10th round. I don't think it really matters, the ADP. So just go watch my sleeper episode. Rico, I think pretty much all of these guys, Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard. Oh, and an important note here. The defenses on this platform, for whatever reason, start going really, really early. So like 9th round, 8th round, I saw people drafting defenses. So you're going to want to, going in, have 12 defenses that you're comfortable drafting in terms of what their schedule is for the first 3 weeks of their season. So just be comfortable, understand I wasn't ready for this in this draft because I honestly haven't done the research enough on the defenses. Get your defense kind of here in the 12th, 13th round. Don't get it any earlier before then. Kicker, I'm like, who cares? But leave yourself some room in the 15th round. Again, go ahead and watch that sleeper episode because you can get a guy like Josh Palmer who might be the number one in LA. It's going to be him or Ladd McConkey. And I get it, they're not going to throw the ball a ton there, but they're going to throw the ball enough to support a couple of good wide receivers, especially with the quarterback that they got over there. And that's it. My last note would be also just look at your league's draft settings, your roster of your draft. If you do have 2 flex spots, guess what? You're in a 3 wide receiver anyway. So really, really load your team with deep wide receivers and kind of follow that Underdog ADP. If you do want my top 150 rankings, I have posted it on my social media, including my Twitter, which you can follow me at JAMJKS. You can also please just subscribe to the channel, leave a comment of how your drafts are going on the Yahoo platform, any questions you might have. I will definitely answer them. And tell me, of course, always, if you think I'm an idiot about one of the player takes that I have, I'd love to discuss it in the comment section. We love having like rational, calm dialogues here, and just keep it pretty statistical and fun, because that's what it is. It is fun arguing about your different player takes. Please subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, share it with a friend. If you didn't like it, share it with your enemy. My name's Jamie Jakes, and we'll see you next time.